If you want to stand out and increase your conversion rate, you cannot send boring generic emails. You need to provide tailored, personalized insights. In this video, I'm going to go through a client record, show you how I built this out for them, based off quiz results in ScoreApp, an email sequence that is tailored to each individual person that takes the quiz. So let's jump right into it, and I'll show you how it all works. So this is Mike, and he runs a school community around microgreens. He's my client, and I've helped him build out a quiz to help people with their microgreens business figure out what's wrong, where they need help. All autopilot, all tailored. They just have to fill in 12 quick questions and they get some results specific to them. But aside from just the quiz itself that we've built out in the Score app, we want to go a bit further with the nurture. We're going to send them out some specific emails based on what they've said on the quiz, really tailored to them and their needs. And by the way, if you are interested in microgreens, I highly recommend checking this out. I don't know much about them, I'll be honest, but Mike really knows what he's doing. And that's why I'm so happy to help him out, try and find some more people. So let's have a look at how this all works. So we're going to jump into this. Okay, so this is the framework. This is what we're looking at building for Mike. We'll go into some specifics in a moment, but here's how it's meant to work. So from either content or an ad on social media, uh, or vice versa, they go to a landing page. The lead sees something that's interesting. They go to the landing page. They complete the quiz. They get a dynamic results page with all the information saying, hey, you scored in this part. You scored well in this part. You scored poorly in this part. Here's what we think would help. And then we want to go on to an email sequence. And you can see we have quiz outcomes A, B, and C. So depending on the outcome there, they're going to receive a different email. Now with Mike, there's actually four because we're looking at, here's the quiz here, four different categories that we're scoring them in. So we're asking three questions in each category. We have their operational and financial readiness, market positioning, storytelling, and customer engagement, sustainability, innovation, and collaboration, and resilience and mindset. So these are the four areas that we're looking at. And then based off of that, they'll get different results. And we'll look at sending them a different email. So pretend there's email D here. But depending on whichever they scored the lowest in, that's where we want to focus. That's the pain point. So let's have a look at that. So we'll send four different emails. Then we'll go on to just a standard email number two. So a cookie cutter, the same for everybody. And then 3, 4, and 5. And then the goal of this, the whole time we're trying to nurture them to get them to join that school community about microgreens, to help them out with their microgreens business. So this is the structure. This is what we're looking to achieve. Let's go into how it works. The first thing that we want to look at is HighLevel. So this is the CRM system that I recommend, that I like to use. And it will do all the automation of the emails there. So it will also house all the customer records. There's tons that it does. You'll see just a sneak peek today. But the first thing that we need to do before anything is we need to create some custom fields. Now I've built these out already, but really what this is specific records on the contact record, specific little fields where we can house their information. So you can see I've pre-built 30 different fields to get all of the information out of ScoreApp, the quiz platform that we're going to look at in just a second. But I just want to show this here because this is kind of the first step, is where are we going to put all this information? So where are we going to put their lowest category, or the results for the individual categories, or their answers to each individual question, or the total score, or the actual value of the answers to each question? Like how many points were those answers worth? Now, we don't necessarily need all of this. We don't need all of this to achieve this. We only need the lowest category. We just need to know which one's the lowest, where are they struggling, and we'll push them through to this one here. The reason I brought all of that other information through will become apparent soon towards the end of the video, but we won't get ready for that right now. We'll just look at the basics. So we just want to have a look at the quiz category. So that's there. We've got the lowest category. Now over on ScoreApp here, we're in the integration page. We're actually looking at my ScoreApp, not Mike's, because I don't have the login for it. But I'll show you how it works. So in the integration section here, I've already got HighLevel connected. I have a video about that, so you can check that out. It might pop up in the top right corner in a moment. Over there, all the way past where I am. I'll try and put it in there. If not, it'll be linked down below. But when we make that connection, we go through in here, and once it comes up, we want to include a tag. So quiz completed, we have to add that tag in here as well inside of HighLevel. Again, you can't see it because it's behind my video here, behind my screen, but there's a little section here where my mouse goes down to tags. And this is where you can add all your tags in the system. The reason we need that tag is just something to trigger the automation. So when they complete the quiz, we add that tag that says quiz completed. Then we can bring through their contact details from the lead form. So they will fill in at least their first name and email address, maybe just their email address, but we like to have a name as well so we can talk to them by name. And then we can add in other things as well. So anything that you can imagine that comes from the quiz, we can pull that through. So we need to create the fields here. I don't actually have them on this one because this is mine, but we can say, I've got one here, audit lowest category. And from there, I can go lowest category and bring that information through and just plug that in. So I'll get rid of this other one that's here because I got the wrong thing. But let's say I had, I want to know what the answer to question 5. Question 5 is very important. I want to know what the answer is to question 5. So I can go in here and say answer and then choose which question I'm specifically interested in. And I can choose all the questions just one at a time. I'll go, this one here, I will put it in their address. And then this next answer will be the user response message. Of course, this isn't really what I'm looking for here. Answer itself, not answer value. And we'll get this question. So we can go through and pick up every single question, every single answer, bring that all through to HighLevel, which will be super useful for analysis. Okay, so that is all set up. Everything's now coming through. We're ready to go. So let's have a look at the workflow. So we've got this one here that we're going to ignore for now, but we're looking at category based. So here is how this all works. So when they complete that quiz, the trigger comes through that says quiz completed. So that's what we set up in here, that tag, quiz completed. That means this is going to all start happening. And what we can see on here is the very first step is a if condition to find out what the lowest category is. So we have in here some custom values set up. So what I've done, the way that I've built this is so it can be reused and templatized for different people like yourself if you're interested. So the categories are actually not shown here. They're in what's called a custom value, which I think you can see there, custom values. And you can see here we've got a quiz category 1. It's called operational and financial readiness. So what this means is if Mike creates a different quiz, if he wants to change some things around, he can just change the names in here and it pushes out everywhere in the system. It will change that everywhere. You just have to change in one place or a one-to-many update. It makes life a lot easier. And you can see we've got all the questions in there as well. So that, yeah, when you go to change those. So whenever you see like custom values quiz question 2, that's essentially this. So anyway, let's go back to it. So we've got here the categories in here. So all it's doing is, does the lowest category equal number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4? And then I've added this little extra thing in here for error handling in case for whatever reason it doesn't match any of those. Maybe there's a mix up somewhere. Maybe the word and is used instead of that little ampersand thingy, instead of this thingy. So if there's an issue, we've got a tiny little bit of AI, a tiny little bot whose only job is to find out what we meant to say. So based on the following result, the quiz lowest category, that's what it comes through as. Identify which one of the following is the lowest scoring category. So it will have a look at what it should be. And then we've also got the score in there to tell them what the lowest score is. So there's a couple of different ways it can figure it out. And then all it's going to do is output that which category is correct, update it, and then send it back around to try again. Hopefully we don't need to use this one at all. It's just an in case there. But then what we can see what happens as we go through, I'm just going to move this over and close this, maybe zoom out a little bit, is that we'll add a tag to each one of these. And the tag is just based on the actual custom value. It's a dynamic tag there, not a standard tag. So it will create a tag based on what the category is, just saying, yep, this is it. It's I could maybe even add in there lowest. I'm not going to do that right now, but that's how it works. So we'll add a tag in there for each one of these. So we've got 2, 3, and 4, and then it will send out an email. And the email will be different based on which category is lowest. So we have in here, I've built this out earlier, a whole bunch of emails for Mike to send out. We used ChatGPT and a bit of context about his business, his brand voice, and his ideal client to put these together. Lots of iterations. I know AI makes things faster, but I probably spent about 6 hours on all of this. But yeah, we've got a full email there going out talking all about operational and financial readiness, doing a deeper dive into that specific area because that's where they had the lowest score. And we have another one here doing a deeper dive into market positioning, and another one here doing a deeper dive into sustainability, and another one doing a deeper dive into mindset and resilience, or resilience and mindset. Uh, so really narrowing in, being dynamic on their specific problem. We're not just helping them with a random problem, we're helping them with the problem that it turns out they have, which they've discovered by taking the quiz. So we're giving them more and more value here. So more and more tailored value as well. It's value that actually is valuable, not just generic value. So we'll send out one of these to each of them. So depending on the score, that email goes out. Then we move into a more generic sequence. We still continue to help and provide value, but the goal in this, we might even look at doing a second structured email there. So we could do, if we had, as an example, all four categories, which order they were in, we could actually send each of these emails out, or a version of each of these, in order of, their worst problem. So let's say uh, email C, category C is their biggest problem, and then category B is their second biggest, and then category D is like their third biggest problem, and they're awesome in category A. So we could send a sequence that goes C, B, D, and then on to email 2, because we don't need to worry about A. We're not going to get into that now. I might have a look at building that out, but it gets very complicated very quickly. So we want to keep it relatively simple and just send all of these out. So from there, this all leads towards joining the microgreens community. So joining that free community, so Mike can help them even further, which he's amazing at doing. And then at the end, we'll probably add them to a newsletter. But yeah, very simple follow-up. The fortune is in the follow-up, making sure that they feel nurtured, that they have information that's valuable to them. They learn more about you and your business. So that is all set. Now, something else I want to show you is a little bit of a bonus, a little bit of an extra here, is how we can go even further with this. Because really, all we've done is chuck them into 3, 4 different buckets, 4 in this case with Mike. But people are people, and they don't always fit into a bucket. So what we want to do, or what we can do if we want to get really, really fancy, is have a look at using some AI. And you might have seen this before. You might have noticed I've got this little AI prompt up here. And if you're paying close attention, you would have seen that I already had this open because I was looking at it before I started recording this. And this is an AI powered response. So let's have a look at how it works. We will go into the prompt on here. So we have the same trigger. It's just when they've completed the quiz, what happens? And we have this GPT prompt. I'll try and zoom in on it a bit. It's very long and very complex. Uh, I'll zoom as much as I can. But basically, what this does is it gets the AI, the ChatGPT that is inbuilt into HighLevel, to act like an expert in microgreens, and then receive the quiz responses, make an assessment, and deliver feedback based on every single question and answer that they've given. So it says here are the categories. Your task is to analyze how the customer answered each question within each category, identify patterns, strengths, and opportunities for improvement, summarize insights, provide concise and actionable feedback that aligns with Mike's brand. And there's a bit of information about the structure here. And then you can see we have custom fields for all of the categories, questions, and the answers, as well as the score of each answer. Because we don't want to just give the AI the answer. We want to know out of the multiple choice answers we've given them, is this good? Is this bad? Is this medium? It, AI is smart, but it can't always tell is this actually a good thing. So yeah, we've got the score there as to what they've rated on each one. All of this information here, and then as we go down a bit further, I've enabled history, which means I get to play with some advanced options. I've turned the temperature up a bit, which sort of makes it a bit more random, a bit more different in its feedback, which is what I want. I want to be a bit creative here. I don't want to say the same thing to every single person. And then I've got some extra instructions here on how to put the feedback together. So a bit of analysis guidelines. I could probably give it some more information here. But yeah, it was sending out answers to every single question individually, feedback on each question. I don't want it to do that. I want it to be like a human being saying, "Oh, I've read these questions in this category. Here's what I think." Uh, yeah, avoid over-interpreting individuals since the choices are limited, and structure it as an email, saying hi, contact first name. I told it not to use any formatting or markdown, but it still seems to be doing it. Uh, and order the feedback by the categories of the lowest overall scores to the highest overall scores. So really show, I might tweak that to give them a win first and say, hey, you've done really well in this high score. But right now, when it sends out the emails, like, this is the big problem. Let's focus on this. Sound as human as possible and sign off the email. Now let's have a look at the email. I think I have one open here. So I filled out the quiz, and what I did was I told it that I was really bad at resilience and mindset, and I was really good at financial readiness. So it's picked that up. You can see here, uh, let's just pull it out and zoom in so we can see a bit better. Uh, so got some challenges in managing daily demands. Now, something I really like this is it's great to see that you're celebrating your successes and sharing them with your network, which is a specific answer to a question which I gave. I said in resilience and mindset, right down the bottom here. Uh, yeah, it was this one here. So I said, I feel overwhelmed, setbacks feel discouraging, but I chose one mid answer, which was I celebrate milestones occasionally. So it's picked up on that. It said, hey, even though it's really bad in this area, you are doing something good. Uh, so yeah, it's really gone through here and given specific detail based on my specific answers rather than just lumping me into one category. So realistically, if my math is right, and I don't think it is, there could be 3 to the power of 12 potential versions of this. I'm going to check that and maybe put it on the screen somewhere. What's the actual math? Uh, I know just with the buckets, with the categories, there's 4 cubed. What's that? 4 squared is 16. 6 times 4 is 64 different answers, different potential outcomes, different combinations. I shouldn't be trying to do math live on the video. But anyway, that's pretty much it for now. So what we've gone through is we've covered, uh, when someone completes a quiz using ScoreApp, which is an amazing tool, I highly recommend it. This is how we send them emails based on their results. So something specific to them, to their outcome, and then follow up with them and try and get them to take the next step, which in this case is joining a school community. But for you, it might be booking a discovery call. The community is really good for further nurture. But yeah, and we've had a look at some AI things as well, how we can utilize that in both a back end and front end way to streamline our business a bit more. Uh, Okay, that just about wraps it up. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful, valuable. Smash a like if you did. Also, yeah, what we've covered is looking at how to send out emails from HighLevel based on results in ScoreApp, using some AI in between there. But yeah, if you have more questions, which I'm sure you do, like how do I even build a quiz? What is HighLevel? What the hell are you talking about, you weird, weird man? Yeah, check out some of my other videos. I think I have one over here, and I might have a playlist over there as well. And also, please subscribe. I'll see you in the next one where we might talk a bit more about how to actually build out the quiz live in ScoreApp. All right, see you there.